there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Ready to explore right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
I'm here only because your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only because I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, no, oh, oh, tonight we're stars but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up, oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up, oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down, so we'll
Hello everybody, welcome into Ghost Racing Network. We're getting ready to get back in the action for the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Wasn't here last week, but the race was still broadcasted by Ghost Racing Network. Never mind that, I got my co-host Matthew Baker joining me in the booth, and man, we are excited because this is going to be a wild one. The amount of trucks we have in here, I think it's over 40.
Yeah, we got 41 trucks here tonight, a good solid field. It's good to see them have consistent numbers in and out, and it just keeps growing and growing. I would love to see them get to that 43 max, but 41 cars will do just fine.
And we will get to your race info here in just a second. I do have to do a quick update here. Give that a quick refresh, and we're going to go ahead and get tonight started in just a moment with your race info. Everybody knows we're at Talladega Superspeedway. Big 2.65 mile with a tri-oval, the Blaster 120. Going to be 45 laps here tonight in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Everybody's going to have 100% fuel, unlimited tires, one fast repair, and it is, as always, fixed setups. The thing that's different tonight is that fuel number, Baker, and of course, we don't have a stage, so that's going to add some extra money to the end, take some money away. But before we talk too much about that, let's talk about your starting grid. The man that's going to get the pole tonight, how about Kyler Wynn? He likes what he's seen from the series. He's going to get out here and try his luck. Starting at his outside is going to be Kevin Freese, another great super speedway driver. Sean Hill third, Jason Maines to his outside, and fourth, John Ellis Jr. fifth. Michael Triscaro, series owner and owner of Team PGR, in sixth. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr. and Danny Esselman making up row 4. John Mullahan and David Sheets in row 5.
You got Garrett Maines in P11. He's sporting a Toyota tonight. Looks like he loaded into the wrong truck, so that's going to be a little bit different on the broadcast. Heath Job's going to be in 12th, Ron Hunter in 13th, MBG Motorsports Cody Nagels in 14th. Got Nash Bella for the PGR boys in 15th, Sean Corbett in 16th, Jeff Merck for MBG in 17th, Kenneth Stamper in 18th, Hunter Parsons, good to see him out here in 19th, and Rhett Tucker in 20th.
Moving back to 21st, we're going to find another Team PGR driver. That's Mike Davenport. How about McCall Motorsports' Ron Morris Jr. to his outside, and 22nd, William Fox. 23rd, I believe that might be the new Fury team, and that would be his teammate to his outside, Ryan Baste. Andrew McGronigle, I hope I pronounced his last name right, starts 25th. Devin Rea in 26th. David Duran in 27th. And Sierra Clampert, currently live on Twitch, starts 28th. Cole Larson in 29th. It's going to be Josh Olszewski starting in the 30th position.
Got Michael Eden in 31st and Michael Dunn, the last qualifier, in 32nd. Those who did not take a lap, you got Dylan Jones in 33rd, John Ward in 34th, Chad Ross in 35th, J.R. Miller in 36th. You're going to have Christopher McCullough, the other McCullough boy, in 37th, and Donnie Lyons in 38th. Christopher Hodges in 39th, and Mark Vondell and William H. Scott are going to round out your field in 40th and 41st.
And a big field indeed, as we talked about. There's going to be a lot of chaos throughout this race. These guys are going to have to start out smart, but we always see the mixed strategies, and being gone a week, I cannot wait to see what it holds in store for us tonight. You got some of the really good, the veterans, the pros up front, including Kevin Freese, Kyler Wynn, Sean Hill, even Jason Maines. All these guys are going to be going at it from the start. We're going to also throw that in with a bunch of trucks trying to play it safe. Either way, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be good as the pace car rolls off, getting ready to go green for 45 laps. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. The PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Getting ready to go into the Geico restart zone now. We are green at Talladega.
And look for the front to be pretty organized. Not many people are going to be taking too many chances up here in the top 6, top 8. I think they're okay with the track position they have now. That's just going to be the name of the game here is track position. Look for Hill to maybe clear up and get in front of Kevin here, take the lead as he's getting split in the middle, may go 3, but he stays tucked back to the bottom, thought better of it, and Jason's going to have a good push to Kevin.
And he had a decision to make there, and it looks like he thought twice about it. We know him and Kevin have kind of got into it a little bit before. Both of them very talented, though, and I think they're going to be able to work together here as we already got trucks scattering a couple off track. 3 wide further back here. It looks like the 60 of Jeff Merckx looking to make his way through the middle here. Kenneth Stamper in the 30 truck just above, almost some contact there, and below these two, looks like the 30 of Ron Hunter, another one of the newer guys out who good to see him out here having a good run early.
And Merck's going to get left out in the middle. They're going to try and sucker hole him back to where he gets in line there in the middle, but he's not going to have any of it. He's going to force Kenneth Stamper at the top of 3. As you see the front guys just 2 by 2 taking their time, and you see that back half is really taking their time as well. Spread out, making sure they're not getting into wrecks. Last week was a pretty good race. Only had about 2 or 3 cautions. MBG dominated the whole night. Cody had the win. They had a 1-3-5 finish, so look for MBG to be up front again. But Maines boys had some bad luck last week. Look for them to be up front as well.
Well, I thought we'd be a little slower this week getting to the 3 wide, but it looks like a couple guys are ready to go to the front earlier. I believe that's the 88 of Heath Job. Sure enough, it is on the outside. He's ready to get going. He's probably looking for a couple of his teammates. Don't think he's going to find any right now. What he is going to get is 2 of the KSR teammates behind him, and Sean Corbett and Kenneth Stamper. That puts 3 trucks on that 3rd line. That's good enough to make some progress. We'll see how long it takes before that 3rd line gets to the front.
It looks like in the chat, Victoria said McGronigal. I think we got it pronounced right. Is it John McGronigal? Andrew McGronigal, that's what it is. The 94 car.
Well, we had one almost washed up a little bit there. It looked like the 17. I saw Cody Nagels jump low. And, oh, that was Garrett Maines who actually... I saw a car jump down low, maybe jump back to the middle. Either way, Garrett Maines, as you know, it's going to be a little confusing with the different paint scheme, but no surprise to see him working his way through the field here early. Let's go to the back half of the field and check out how some of these guys are doing. Again, try the different strategy here, and if we go all the way to the back, looks like Ken McCall Jr., has he maybe fallen off the pack here? Sure enough, he must have missed the start. That's going to put Christopher McCall in 40th. Couple teammates for those 2. Christopher Hodges just in front of him. Chad Ross, Dylan Jones, William Scott, all outside the top 30. If you go up a little bit farther here, 28th, you're going to find J.R. Miller, one of the Team PGR drivers, and there's Sierra Clamper. Keep an eye on her. She had a good run last week. A couple things didn't go her way, but I think if she can get some track position when she needs it, we saw her being aggressive late in the race. Sean Hill as well. Looks like he's having a good run here in 3rd, and it caught my eye because I just saw a 3rd lane going up top. On the bottom, Sean Hill 2nd in line on the bottom, pushing Kyler Wynn. Those 2 maybe not the best of friends either, but 2 of the most aggressive guys out here.
Yeah, they may not be the best friends, but they definitely respect each other on the track. You see Kevin goes down to the middle as Eshelman in that brand new number 26 paint scheme. It looks really good. He went from the 6 to the 26. He said too many people were running the 6 number, so I might as well mix it up and run a new number. Paint scheme's looking good. Another paint scheme that's looking good is the series owner as he gets bailed on, Michael Triscaro, on that 34 one-stop shop.
Absolutely. Getting bailed on early, but hey, if you're showing aggression, that's how you're going to get it late in the going. And it looks like they're going to try to sort of back out here. We're getting back down to 2 by 2, at least throughout most of the field. 5 laps in, but again, everybody knows that we don't have that ever so important stage break that has really been kind of the thing that determines how these races go, and that's part of the reason it's probably been more conservative so far here tonight. I think you got to try to stay as close to the front, and if you don't have teammates, the key is going to be pitting with some of those bigger teams, either whether it be McCall Motorsports, the Mains Group, NBG, any of those guys, and you got to make sure you hit your pit stop right because you're only going to have one shot at it.
And you can see the Mains boys starting to line up on the bottom. Garrett's going to control this top lane while pushing Eshelman. Keep it even here until the pit stops come up. No stage to fight for here as you see Sean looking to go upstairs. Look for Hunter Parsons to maybe bail on Garrett. Not the best of friends with Garrett. And Sean will definitely push him with Merck behind him as well.
Looking at the field, everybody working through the trial. That is a pretty long line, and it looks like the separation all the way from front to back is a span of 4 seconds, but everybody is still in that lead draft except for Ken McCall Jr. He's going to need a caution, but I don't think he has to worry too hard. I'm sure we'll get one at some point, just based off the way these things normally end. Danny Eshelman, noting with that nice new paint scheme, still leads the way on that outside line. Garrett Maines continues to show a lot of patience. About the 15 truck back here. Can't tell exactly who it is running second right now, just behind Danny Eshelman, who works for just a second. The 15 truck looking pretty good throughout the middle, but these guys are going to go back to 3 wide. Garrett Maines up top, and he's getting help from Sean Hill.
Yeah, he's looking like he wants to control all 3 lines here, but the problem is it's Talladega, and you can go 4 wide pretty easily. As you see Sean push Garrett clear, they're going to be 2 by 2 the Mains boys. As they're wrecking behind, Kyler Wynn gets turned, Hunter Parsons, Michael Triscaro, they're scattering behind.
Big wreck here on the front stretch at lap 7, brings out the caution. We still got guys piling in here. Such a difficult task to stop when these wrecks start. Doesn't look like the big one, though. That's the good news. Bad news is it's still going to collect a handful plus a couple more trucks here. It looks like we had 3 of the Michaels involved. Michael Dunn looks like might have been involved. Michael Triscaro and Michael Eden. Let's go back and take a look at your first caution here of the night. Saw the 15 go spinning. Go ahead, Baker.
Yeah, it's not a good day to be in Michael. That's what I was going to say.
And let's take a look first here. We'll go to the chopper view. Should I take the back? Go to the spotter view. See if we can get an idea here of where this is going to start. And, oh, this starts further back with Kyler Wynn and the 15 of Hunter Parsons. Is there going to be a little contact here? Looks like maybe the 15 coming down. We'll have to go to a better view here. Look at the chopper. And watch closely. That pink truck towards the middle of your screen. And then the inside, that's the 82 of Kyler Wynn. And then it looks like the 15 coming down, maybe a little net code there.
Yeah, it looks like it's about not a half lane, about a quarter lane in net code. Kyler did not take much to it. It looks like he hooked the wheel right as soon as he got turned into, but he'll go back, look at the replay, see it's net code. Think better of it next time, get back out there. He'll be up front sooner enough. And
then all these guys scatter and make through. Man, the 75 looks like took a pretty big shot. There's Michael Triscaro spun around the wrong way. Michael Eden arrives on the scene, but it looks like some other guys are a little more fortunate sneaking by. Triscaro, though, and yeah, he's got smoke out the back looking at the replay, so he is going to have to take a fast repair for sure. Let's take a couple more views at it here. Start with your restart cam, and then we will take a ride on board with Kyler Wynn. It's hard to say from the outside. You get left look at the cockpit. It almost looked like he was trying to hold it, maybe overcorrected, and then looked like, oh man, somebody had a pretty wicked save down there on the apron. Chad Ross sneaks by. There's the pace car. Man, these wrecks, the more trucks we add, the more it amazes me how some of these guys can somehow find their way through these wrecks. All I saw through that one was smoke and a bunch of trucks spinning, and somehow these guys saw little gaps, and they found their way through it. All right, let's go right on board here if we can find Kyler Wynn in the 82 and see just what he saw through the cockpit view. Oh, man. Those hands were working. I have never seen hands work that. It almost looks like he's on a controller. Wow. Yeah, that was an interesting one. And I knew he's not. I've got to assume he's on a wheel, but holy moly. Hands went around so quick. I don't think he had time to really worry about trying to save that truck. Either way, first caution of the night, 8 laps in, but caution, of course, did happen on lap 5 or lap 7. But either way, out front, Rhett Tucker leading the way up 19 positions from where he started. This might be Rhett's first race out here. Either way, he's looking like a veteran up front. Ron Hunter in second, Andrew in third, and Sean fourth. It looks like Sierra rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, so it looks like the top 5 stayed out. It's going to differ the strategy for fuel. I don't know if I agree with that call. What do you think?
You know, it's hard to say, but you know how these races go in the sense of once we get one caution, we start to get a bunch more. And if that starts to be the case, I definitely would like to take track position over anything else. We'll have to see how it pans out, and it's going to make it fun for us to watch some of the guys, the really good guys that are further towards the back. They're going to have to work their way through some of the rookies, mixed with a bunch of other drivers, try to get their way back to the front.
Yeah, they're going to be taking a lot more fuel. And when I say a lot more fuel, they're probably going to have to take 2 cans as opposed to the mains boys. You're going to have to take 1 can and everyone else who pit behind them. But like you said, track position is key here. And we'll see how it plays out.
I think you got to assume at least that's probably why they're relying so much on the track position. Or not the track position, I take it back. I want to say more or less, you got to think they're just expecting that we're going to have some more cautions along the way here. And if we get a caution, I would say anywhere between the fuel run before those leaders run out and they come down to pit, they might lose a couple spots, but they would still overall not have to worry about going all the way back as they might have had they decided to pit here if they were already in the back, of course. But looking back here, it looks like towards in the middle, the mid-teens, I would say just inside the top 10 all the way to the mid-teens is we're going to see a lot of those strong drivers such as Cody Nagels, Kevin Freese, even Kenneth Stamper back here in 15th. And then some of the newer guys, Ryan Baste, Michael Dunn, I mean, Kyler Wynn as well. He's going to have to work his way back up. And let's see if we can see any. I know he'd gotten some damage. I'm not sure if he just needed to use a fast repair or not on it. And it looks like, I'm assuming he has because that truck looks brand new. And it certainly didn't look that way after the accident was finished. Ron Morris Jr. back here in 19th. There's Cole Larson, another driver. Good to see him out here running in the top 20 right now, just outside the top 20. Some more powerhouse names, Dylan Jones. How about Heath Job, David Drohan? David Sheets as well. David Sheets is one of those guys, he's kind of similar to Dylan Jones in the sense of he's always sneaky about how he gets up there, isn't he? But you always seem to see him up at the end, and there's a beautiful looking 06 Transmedic paint scheme he's got on tonight.
Absolutely, and we got the battle of the Twitch streamers. You got Garrett on the outside of Sierra. Go and give both those guys a follow. Or sorry, guy and girl follow Sierra Races at Twitch TV, and then you got Garrett Mains 1 at Twitch TV as well. I'll post the links in the chat here.
And I know we talked about Sarah being fun to watch. You want to talk about a guy that's really fun to watch? How about Garrett Mains? And I think he's got the whole setup rocking. He's got a GoPro on. I believe he's even got a foot cam so you can see the way he shifts and works around the pedals. But, man, that guy does some things behind the wheel that not a lot of the rest of the people throughout the field can do. Does a heck of a job. Always fun to watch. And it's going to be fun to watch everybody outside the top 5 right now. Did they decide to stick conservative, kind of like what we saw through that first run? I mean, all things considered, that caution wasn't really one of the cautions that we see from just aggressive racing. That was just more or less a mistake of netcode. Nothing either driver could really do. They weren't racing each other too hard. But either way, caution's out, damaged a bunch of trucks, and it's going to make our job up here a lot more exciting these next 35 laps or so.
Absolutely. I'm going to be excited to watch these next laps unfold. About 35 laps to go here. It's going to be a barn burner for sure. Or sorry, yeah.
And I think on this restart, let's ride on board with one of these guys in the middle of this mess. In fact, let's take an onboard view here with Garrett Mains. We'll see how quick he decides to go 3 wide, if he does, or does he stick behind the KSR teammate of Sean, well, not his teammate, a KSR driver, Kenneth Stamper's teammate. That's Sean Corbett. Oh, big start. You see Garrett Mains, he has to check up there. The outside did not get a good restart. The inside, on the other hand, is starting to pull away. And Garrett Mains wastes no time. There he goes to the outside.
Yeah, as you see them going 3 wide, leaving the KSR teammate out. As you see, Sean's going to try and push Sean through the middle and try and get them to be even with the outside lane. As you see the front 3 kind of pulling away right now. That's going to spell disaster. They're going to get a huge run on these guys. Watch for Sierra to maybe come up to the middle lane if she chooses so. She's going to stay tucked to the bottom, though.
Jeff Merck is looking to get locked up with his teammate Sean Hill in the 77. They're still going to have to sort of add a little more. Kevin Freese drops down to the apron. He's going to be able to bring it back up at turn 3 just behind. We got a couple more trucks that had to dart down to the apron. Looks like everybody does manage to keep it together. We still got one on the apron back there. I take that back. That's the 76 of Ron Morris Jr. Not sure if this is an intentional fallback, but he is falling in a hurry. He's going to get in front of his teammate David Sheets. Meanwhile, up front as we come to lap 11, how about Sean Corbett getting the lead here in the middle line? The top being led by Garrett Mains, and Rhett Tucker still rolling the bottom. Remember, everybody up front, less fuel, and now we're going to see a power move from Sean Hill. He takes over the lead from the bottom.
Great to see some new faces up here. As you see an offset push from Rhett to Sean, he's able to hang on to it there on the bottom. As you see Corbett getting pushed by Merck in the middle lane. The Mains boys are kind of stranded up top. They got Kyler Wynn lined up with him, and Ellis, another teammate of the Mains boys, lined up on the outside.
Still hanging 3 by 3. You can tell some of those guys that took fuel, they know they're on a better number. Let's see, it would be close. Baker confirmed me on this, but nobody should be able to make it the rest of the way just yet. But of course, the guys that did pit should be a lot closer.
Yeah, it's very, very, very close for the people who are going to try and save the entire run. I don't think they can make it work, and I would think someone would be able to stop and still catch people. As there's sounds like some contact in the back of the field. They keep it straight, and the mains boys will be able to clear down to the middle line in front of Corbett. It's going to stack up. Merck may look to go to the bottom lane. He does go to the bottom lane, and Kyler's hung out top with John Ellis.
And I know a lot of guys, especially the ones that decided not to take fuel, are going to stay out here and probably run it as long as they can, hoping for that caution. But if you're the mains group here, you got a couple of your teammates out in the lead. Do you think about maybe trying to pit as soon as that fuel window opens? Because you got to assume it's going to be opening here for everybody that's already pitted, at least in probably the next 5 to 8 laps at the latest. Yeah,
I think the people that took fuel there on the last stop need to pit as soon as they possibly can, because as they're getting swervy in the middle lane, they're going to take as less fuel as possible than the 5 who had stayed out before. Try and separate themselves, and there's no other better people to do it than the mains boys, MBG and McCullough Motorsports.
The field has really kind of separated themselves. We're starting to form maybe a couple different packs, but it looks like everybody's still been able to tag on at least to that lead draft. You see it there on your track map, and the only person in danger of going a lap down right now looks to be Christopher Hodges, but he is currently not on the lead lap anyway. It's the 99 truck. Had some struggles in that first wreck, and unfortunately finds himself back here fighting. He would certainly like to see a caution right now, but up front, we are 3 wide for 5+ rows. These guys are going at it, and what I'm starting to see here throughout the middle, I would say about the middle of this pack, is that team, that newer team that we saw in practice. I believe it's Team Fury. Looks like they got a couple trucks trying to work their way through the middle.
Absolutely, they're doing a good job holding their own. But the 31 car is a little bit out of shape. William Fox, that is. He's able to hold his own, but he's definitely swerving side to side once he gets in the corners, and it's checking up that middle line. That's not really... You see how organized the bottom is, and the runs they're able to get through the corners. That middle line should be able to clear if they were to tuck up and actually have those 4 cars tucked up nice in the middle, and they're just not able to get that run. You see Rhett Tucker pull out a line. He knows he's going to have to save fuel as well as the 94. Look for those two to maybe be working together. McGronigal and Rhett are friends. They are probably working together.
Man, Baker, I don't know about you, but I didn't like all the swerving I saw from a lot of guys on the backstretch there. Easy now, fellas. We still got 20+ laps to go in this thing. The 3 wide up front is starting to calm down a little bit. That outside line has only fallen to 2 trucks. Currently still being led by Kyler Wynn, and it looks like he's getting a little support from John Ellis Jr. And, of course, Kyler's probably working with the main group tonight. And if that's the case, they're now going to have the top 3 spots all locked up. John Ellis Jr. is going to make sure nobody thinks about a 4th lane if he has anything to say about it. A lot of guys are really dropping back here, Baker. You reckon this is an attempt to save fuel, or you think guys just didn't like what they were seeing up front?
As a lap car goes to the apron, but yeah, I think they just didn't like what they were seeing up front, but also trying to save fuel, especially those top 5. Everyone else came in for fuel, so they're all good. Look for people saying, I'm hearing in different chats, lap 20 is looking like what the pit stop's going to be for most teams.
And ironically enough, we did have somebody here watching the stream that said lap 20 as well. And for everybody out there that is watching the stream, normally we read the chats, but man, it gets so busy. Oh, and here we go. We're going to have pit stops. Hold that thought for just a second. Sean Hill, looks like maybe the NBG group couldn't completely tell.
Yeah, NBG is trying to separate themselves. 3 trucks is going to be enough. It'll be a little bit tougher to have that 3rd car tucked up in line, but as long as they're checking up, they'll be able to keep it rolling and stay with the bigger packs here.
Yeah, 3 trucks nonetheless. How about 3 really fast trucks? So we know that Sean Hill, Cody Nagels, and Jeff Merck have a lot of good chemistry. I mean, you work with them, Baker. They're going to do a heck of a job, and they are not going to come unglued from each other's bumper. The good thing about Cody Nagels tagging on is he's one of the veterans as well, so if you're not here, he can sub in, and the team looks just as strong as they do in general.
And they had a great pit stop. They're all tucked up together. It's going to really, really, really separate themselves whenever it comes down to it. These guys are side drafting each other pretty hard. Kyler keeps coming down, and that's killing their speed for sure. Look for Ellis maybe try and get to the bottom here and get lined up for the mains boys to get their pit stops going, because the longer they stay and the longer they tick off laps like this, they aren't running the same pace. I mean, they're going 160, 182 right now, as opposed to what Cody and Sean are doing, and they're going about 180. Well, they're coming up to speed now, but they should be at about 184, 185 whenever they hit the front stretch.
I'll tell you what, I think I'd be a little more concerned right now about just trying to pit with this giant group in general. I was always a fan of going down a lap before or a lap after, but something tells me that if a lot of these guys can figure out that lap 20 mark, then we're going to see everybody try to go in, and that's where we could see a potentially big pileup and a lot of guys with the mistakes. It looks like the 16 NASCAR Billa, he's going to jump out of line. That is one of the Team PGR drivers. Another great-looking truck. He's going to get some help from Kevin Freeze, who I think wants to try to get to the front before these pit cycles as well. Here we go. We're going to see some more.
McCullough Motorsports coming down this time. A huge group coming down. And 3 wide is going to be up front. John Ellis is looking to clear to the middle line. Possibly as it get a little out of shape. The 31 gathers it up. Kyler holds onto it. That's the only person you can offset push and have them save it. So glad it was Kyler that took that push.
Man, I just saw further back coming into the pits. Looked like the 04. Couldn't tell. Believe it was the 04. It was one of the McCall Motorsports group. Had some contact there. It was actually Christopher McCall. Sure enough, man, he's got heavy right side damage, and I think he might have caught his teammate Mark Von Dell. The race out of pit road, though, looks like it's going to go to John Mullahan, Ken McCall Jr. second. He's recovering nicely. Then there's Rhett Tucker, David Sheets, Chad Ross.
They're going 4 wide up front, 4 wide up front. Ellis gets put out. Kyler's going to the bottom now. Ellis is going to tuck in line. So is Kevin. They get through it cleanly. And look for these guys to maybe pit this lap or the lap after. They're going to run a very fast-paced lap here. Jason's going to be pushing Sean Corbett with Garrett tucked on him and Kyler as well. This is what you want to see from this front group. You don't want them side by side. They need to stay in line and get that speed going.
Man, that scared me for just a second, but I'll tell you what, they are going to get it sorted out, and usually when everybody drops to the bottom, that's kind of the universal symbol that pit stops are up and coming, and we would be coming to lap 20 this time, so I think you are going to see most of if not all of the field. Oh, we had a little contact. Can the 31 hold on to it? Man, that was William Fox. That was really, really close for a second. He almost made contact, if not quite, with somebody down below, and now he's going to shoot in line just in front of Ashburn Billy. Yeah, the 31 struggling here as now he gets on the apron. This is going to break that group up and maybe help the front pack here. Well, not the front pack, but the leaders get into the pit stop a little cleaner. All right, here we go, Baker. Going to be a big one.
Yeah, it's going to be all the mains group. It's going to be the people trying to get in with them as the 7-3 is going to lock it up, maybe get into LSE. They save it. The car's going off the grass, up the track, into the tri-oval.
And looking at it, oh man, he got a couple spun out. And we're looking for it now. I do apologize. So many trucks here tonight, it's harder to get to them. Looks like John Ellis Jr. is going to get into his box clean. And we will go back and take a look at that here in just a second. Hats off, though, to the 73 right there. I thought for sure he was getting ready to slam into a couple guys. Was able to keep it locked up and straight and was able to keep it off the back of a couple of the guys he was about to hit. All right, let's take a look here. This is going to start further out back. I mean, you kind of expect this. It's just at a certain point, it's just too big of a group to all pit at once. There's the 73 locking it up. Thankfully not getting into anybody, but you got to wonder if that maybe gives him a speeding penalty. That is Ryan Based. And then there's the 31, one of his teammates, and he's just going to get into the grass. They blow it further out back. That's Devin Ray going up the grass. I mean, what do you think about it, Baker? It's just, that's part of the pit stops.
Yeah, once those big groups come in, it's hard to get everyone in line. Not everyone's in the same Discord channel talking to each other. You don't really know where everyone's going to go. But the 3 that were in the same Discord channel and pitted early, like we talked about in MBG, they are out front leading by a second, almost a second and a half. They had the best pit stops out of all of them. You're going to see the main groups probably tag along and a little of the McCulloughs. McCulloughs look like they had a little bit rough of a stop, but the best stop were these 3 by far.
And I guess we shouldn't be surprised, especially when you're talking about the drivers in that lineup. Of course, Jeff Merck, Cody Nagels, and Sean Hill, 3 of the most aggressive pushers in the series. Looking out, though, your current leader is going to be Nasper and Billa. 25 to go. Still no sign of pitting just yet. We'll see if he decides to go this time. He does have a teammate behind him, and he is going to go with at least his teammate. Looks like they're going to pull off a couple more drivers. We're still going to have about a handful stay out. That's going to leave us with about 1 pit stop left. Looks like these guys all able to get in clean, and that might give some competition to the NBG group. However, I think them getting out early, like you said, Baker, I think they were able to run some faster laps, and I think they're going to come out in front.
And these people that are staying out front, Ron Hunter was one of those that didn't pit. Heath Job also another one that hadn't pit, and Sierra Clamper. So 3 out of those 5 are going to be a little bit different on fuel. They may require a little more fuel than these other guys. It looks like Sierra's lifting, trying to save a little fuel here. Looks like she has a little left front damage, but she's definitely trying to save some fuel. So if there's a strategy that I'm not tracking, I don't know what it is, but we may find out here soon. Up
front, still waiting for that final group to pit, currently being led by Sean Corbett, Ron Hunter second. And they're going to continue to stay out, and each lap you stay out with
Merck
this.
gets turned by his teammate Sean Hill on the bottom. Sorry, he got turned on the backstretch down into the wall. It looked like netcode to me. Caution's going to come out.
Oh, man, I saw somebody shoot by that, and it looks like they were able to make it through. So everybody else survives, but Jeff Merck is totaled. Man, oh, man. 23 to go. You might as well throw the strategy out the window. We're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned sprint to the finish. Let's go take a look here. What happens to Jeff Merck? This is a little... I don't know if... Let's back it up here, because I, of course, did not see what happened on the initial one. And this looks like just 3 guys. They're not doing, of course, their teammates, as you noted. Sean Hill's just trying to push Jeff Merck, and you know Jeff Merck trusts him to do so. It's just one of those things where sometimes maybe just a little bit too much or just a slight offset of a push can be all it takes. Nothing that 77 necessarily did wrong, but there you go. Turns to 60, who takes a big, big hit off the inside wall.
Huge hit. It's heartbreak for MBG. It had great pit stops. They were running a great race. It just looks like Merck was going up the side draft. Maybe the communication wasn't there quick enough, but Jason and Garrett was definitely getting cleared. Jason possibly, but they were lined up and they were going to be flying around the top. There's not much you could do there besides sit and ride and get back into a position where you can get back to the top side and get around these guys. But they'll learn from it. It'll be okay.
And he wasn't that offset, all things considered, but we know it doesn't take much. Man, somebody just barely snuck by. I couldn't tell who that was. Looked like a blue and something truck. Either way, that was pretty wild looking. Let's take one more final view of it here. You see just starts to creep to the right. Like you said, probably going for the side draft. And a lot of times that'll work, but at that exact moment, it was probably the exact moment Sean Hill was locked on. Gets him a little loose, wasn't able to save it. And man, I tell you what, Baker, I could not see who that was that exactly missed. We're going to look for it here real quick because that was a pretty incredible miss. I'm not sure. One of the blue and white trucks that we have in here tonight. Man, these guys making some close calls here, but either way, heck of a maneuver misses the wreck. And let's go back live and check on how your top 5 are doing. Looks like leading the way right now is Garrett Maines. Not too surprised there. He seems to find himself in victory lane quite a bit in these races. The 99 looks like they're going to get the wave around here. Jason Maines second, Kyler Wynn third, Kevin Freeze fourth, Sean Hill still running at the top 5. And how about Dylan Jones? Up 27 spots from where he started. He currently sits 6th. Cody Nagel 7th. John Mullihan 8th and 9th is going to be Ken McCall Jr. and Chad Ross running at your top 10.
And why don't we talk to our race leader, Garrett Maines? He's got an announcement that he made on his Twitch. Let's see if he wants to talk about it here in the booth.
All right, see if we can drag him up here real quick.
Hey, Garrett, this is Matt and Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Sir.
Hey, well, didn't really notice what your truck was. Running a Toyota. Looks like you did that on accident, but nonetheless, you're up front, having fun. You made an announcement earlier on Twitch. If you want to go ahead and tell the broadcast about that and what you're going to be doing in the upcoming months.
Well, yeah, so to your first thing, yes, this is totally an accident. I saw blue and got excited. I just clicked on it and realized it was Toyota like 5 minutes later. But yeah, so, you know, Scott at MCU Body has really, I mean, blew my mind. He bought a cup car, wrapped it with the Coke scheme, and has shipped it to me. So it is in the garage now, an actual cup car. And in the coming months, we're planning on taking it to probably VIR first, just because I know that road course, and getting some laps in an actual stock car.
Well, that's going to be awesome. Taking it from sim to reality, and your sponsors getting that done for you. That's really awesome. Shout out to MCU Body getting that done for Garrett. That's a lot of fun. What do you got to do to get this Toyota TRD into victory lane?
Well, I think probably, switch it to a Ford after this race, but I don't know. I feel like we're in a good spot. We didn't really want that yellow. I felt like we were pretty well organized, but I mean, we're all here now. So I've got my dad right behind me, and Kevin and Dylan and John are still, in it right now. So, fingers crossed. These have gone really bad for me the last 3 races, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
All right, you look like you're in a good position with your teammates up front. Hopefully you get it done. We can talk to you a little bit later.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, bud.
And wow, quite the exciting announcement. I did not know that. Man, I'll tell you what, I don't know how he can be out here racing tonight in the sense of I think I'd be so excited. I'd be saying, can we go somewhere right now with it? But that's awesome. Good news here for Garrett Maines. And the only thing that can make this sweeter is if he can get the win tonight, start making some extra cash to put to good use towards that cup car. And I'll tell you what, Baker, Garrett's one of those guys, you know, we see him throughout the Coke Series. Me and you, we've raced in some of the events where we see a lot of the pro drivers, such as the Podium 500. And, you know, in my opinion, there's some guys that I feel like carry themselves a little higher than they should. By no means is Garrett one of those. As great as he is, he always makes sure he gives everybody plenty of respect. He's always happy to race anybody, doesn't matter the skill level. And that's one of the reasons we love seeing him out here in the money racing scene.
Absolutely, and he had a great run in Charlotte. Those Ryko cars have been really fast, and he got a P2 out of it. He's looking good in the points, and looking for his first win of his Coke Series career. So hopefully he can get it here this year. It's been a lot of fun. It's nice that he supports these money races, especially PGR, and we're glad to see a driver of his caliber out here mixing it up with some of the regulars out here, and really putting his money where his mouth is.
Easy guy to root for sure. I'll tell you who another guy that's easy to root for is, and that's looking back at the 11th spot, Nash Brambilla. That's because, in my opinion, he's one of those, I like to call them fire starters. You got the guys that you know they're looking to go 3 wide as soon as possible. And Nash Brambilla is definitely one of the, I'd say maybe the most aggressive Team PGR driver. The only thing now is that he needs is to try to find some of his teammates to get locked up with. He doesn't have to look too far back. And it looks like he does have Mike Davenport in the 55 and 16th. But watch for that 16 go 3 wide here early, and then everybody else that's further on back, I think at this point, you got to either decide you're staying in the back and missing these first couple big ones, or you're going to the front and trying to get in front of them.
Yeah, there's no more track position gain at this time. The cream of the crop is up front right now. A couple wild cards, but it's going to be stacked 3 by 3 as soon as this green flag drops, as pace car pulls off.
29 people watching out home, rooting on their favorite drivers, getting ready to go back green. It could be the final time, however, don't think it is. All right, 20 laps to go. Jason Maines takes the green. We are back racing at Talladega. Garrett Maines on the outside. Good push from his teammate Kevin Freeze, looking to get clear. And what do they do here? Do they try to get all 3 lanes kind of clogged up again, or does Garrett maybe get clear and drop down in front of his dad and teammate?
I think Dylan's just going to support the bottom here. They're going to try and keep Kyla trapped on the bottom. You can see Sean, John, and Chad lining up on the top. Look for them to go top of 3 pretty quickly, and Cody will fall in line, try and get around these guys. But as soon as Garrett clears down, I think they'll go 2 by 2 in the middle and top and bottom lane. So actually, he's going to stay up, though. It's a little bit different than what I would think would happen, but Kyler's not going to push Jason. They're not working together. I'm telling you right now, they're not in the same Discord channel. They may be Ryko teammates, but when it comes to money racing, Kyler isn't going to be there with them.
And that's the cool thing about these money races, right? No setup, so no guys really having to work together in that sense. The 77 of Sean Hill, big run through the tribal, almost got clear, couldn't quite do it, needed about another half a truck. But we got one smoking a little bit out back onto the apron. Can they save it here? And it looks like everybody's going to hold it together. And I believe that was the 75. That might have been the truck that had that crazy avoidance earlier. And the 75 is Michael Dunn.
It looked like Michael Dunn and Kenneth Stamper got to it in the tribal. They both saved it. Great saves by them as we're 3 by 3 up top. Mollahan, we don't talk about Mollahan much. He leads the money standings when it comes to FEG, which you'll be broadcasting here in a couple days. He made the switch to McCullough Motorsports, and it's been the best thing for him. He's around a bunch of really good guys, calm-headed guys, and he runs up front all the time. Has some bad luck every now and then, but he's really grown over this past year and a half.
Most of the guys that I'm seeing right now up, in this little front group here that's staying 3 by 3 is most of the guys you kind of expect. They all have the most experience of the drivers that you see in here weekly. Taking a look, there's Dylan Jones doing that little thing he likes to do, sneak up through the middle, and he might find himself in a money position here by the end of this thing. Mike Davenport, little net code, yellow's out, but we're going to see another wreck up front. Oh, man.
Oh, man, the caution came out, and there was huge net code between Mollahan and Jones. That's unfortunate, just as we talk about him. We hit him with the commentator's curse.
Apparently, but it looked like that truck blinked. That was odd looking. So we had a caution out back, but then the bigger wreck might have happened up front. John Mullahan's all torn up from it. And as we go even further back here, we see a couple more trucks. Cody Nagels looks like he spun around. It's got a little bit of damage. The 06, David Sheets, trying to stay back, know where he could go. The 39, Dylan Jones, as you noted, we were just talking about. Sean Corbett, he's got smoke out the back.
Oh my goodness, the net code was between Danny Eshelman on the bottom and Dylan Jones in the middle. Dylan Jones cannot catch a break with net code. I've seen some of the worst net codes with him, and this is up there. And this may take the cake. There's no motion out of Danny. He goes down to the yellow line, and then it forces Dylan up the track into Mollahan. That is some of the worst net code I've seen.
Well, taking a look here at the wreck that brought out the caution, another driver that got another tough break again is going to be Sierra Clampert. Minding her own business, nothing she can do here. They're going to go 3 wide, and this is one of those ones where as a driver in general here, John Ward looks like sneaking by it, sitting back. Any 3 of these drivers involved here, you got to be pretty annoyed about it because you got to be kind of asking yourself, what the heck are we doing, guys? We're back here trying to catch the lead pack. Why are we 3 wide? And it looks like it's just going to be a little bit of a squeeze. That's Michael Dunn in the middle. The 30 up top, and watch as it just kind of all condenses down. The 30 truck is going to come down. The 75's trying to go down, and they just kind of come together. The 75, after getting hit from 30, gets down to the Sierra, who had nowhere to go. Now the 30 is going to go for a spin across the nose of the 23. Sierra makes some pretty good front impact damage, and oh man, Michael Dunn back up into J.R. Miller. Oh, that's a huge hit for J.R., who was rocking a new paint scheme tonight. That's another tough break. And he had Ghost Racing Network on the back of the car, so of course I'm going to feel for him a little bit more on it. But let's take a look at this second wreck, which was, without a doubt, definitely the bigger of the two. Oh, yeah, man.
Bigger in a sense of the drivers it took out. It took a lot of the front runners out. Very good race cars that had nothing to do with anything in that wreck, and they just got taken out because of the net code.
Yeah, right as that blink happens, it looks like Danny Eshman was the one that blinked, and then the net code ensued from there. Nothing Dylan Jones could do. And then they're all just going to pile up from there. Nowhere to go. John Mullihan, he gets involved. Pretty hard hit. And if you're that second group, you're probably thinking, well, we were the caution. What are these guys doing up here? It looks like, oh, man, Kenneth Stamper as well. And then they were still piling up there back there for a little while. Can't tell if that was William Fox or another one of the Fury drivers. No, it looks like it's the 28. Either way, another big wreck brings us back under caution. So, I mean, we kind of expected one, and I think we still probably have at least one more to get out of everybody's system. But the thing now at this point is you're starting to slowly probably tick off trucks out of the battle of this race because everybody's only got that one fastest pair, and there's a decent amount of drivers that have had to use one by now.
Yeah, ticking off trucks and ticking off laps, and that's exactly what the mains boys want to see up front here. That's what Kyler wants to see. It's not what Sean wants to see. He doesn't have any teammates up here. He's gonna need a lot of help, and he doesn't have many teammates around him or wild cards around him to help.
Let's see if we can talk to one of these guys up here. I want to see if there's somebody that maybe we necessarily don't necessarily talk to that often. How about Chad Ross? I know he's running 8th, but it looks like he's the only one of his teammates in here tonight doing a pretty good job. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him. Hey, Chad, this is Austin and Matthew Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, guys, I got you.
All right, well, it looks like you're kind of holding down the fort here so far tonight from Team 3. Going to be starting back in row 4, it looks like, here for this restart. Could be the final restart, could not, but do you think at this point you have to try to just get your way to the front? And if so, what are you thinking, 3rd lane, or do you just kind of hope to seize part?
Well, I'm the only one for Team 3 right now, so I'm just kind of depending on everybody else. And probably, usually if you stick around at somebody named Maines or McCullough, you're going to be all right. So I guess that's the plan.
Well, that certainly is the case. We're going to have to let you go a little early because your audio seems like it's struggling a little bit right now. But, hey, good-looking run so far, and see if you can get that 9 truck in victory lane for us tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Chad Ross going to slide him back down here. Sure enough, there he goes. All right. Well, we got a quick word with him. He said it pretty much right. This was the same deal, at least on the pit stops. If you find yourself around that mains group, you're in pretty good position. But the other factor that we haven't counted in just yet that we usually see at the end of every race is McCall Motorsports. Their strategy, it seems like overall, they're probably the most conservative of all the teams, at least in the sense of they don't need to run up front until the end. But then once it gets to the end, boy, it seems like all of a sudden we see all 8 of their drivers come out of nowhere.
Yeah, they know how to get up front when it matters, and right now it matters. It's 15 to go here. You're going to see all the fast guys trying to get to the front, 3-4 wide. Teammates trying to get hooked up. Lucky for the mains boys, most of them are hooked up front, and they're going to be content with just sitting 2 up top and 1 down low with Kyler pushing on the bottom. Kyler's going to do the best thing to make as much money as he can, and if it means supporting the mains guys and not having a teammate, that's what's going to happen. First 2 guys I would look to probably step it out 3 wide is going to be Sean Hill and Danny Eshelman and Chad Ross as well. Like he talked about, he's got to get away from the mains guys, get hooked up with some other people that isn't named Maines or McCullough, and try and get to the front around those guys instead of riding the line.
Before we go back green, just a quick announcement here. Tomorrow night is going to be a triple header event for FEG PC. The second race, that $35 entry, $750 payout, will be broadcasted here on Ghost Racing Network. So make sure everybody is tuning in if they're available, of course, if you have some free time. And then as a reminder, I think I might have noted it earlier, but normally we respond to the chat, but it's just so busy in the PGR series, a fun series by all means. Again, think about that. We had over 40 trucks here tonight. Still got quite a few of them running, but that is why we didn't respond to anybody. Payout's a little different tonight. If we get another caution, we'll make sure to go over them then. If not, we'll let you know at the end. But the pace car is going to pull off. We're getting ready to go back green, and at this point, I think you're going to see everybody really starting to get aggressive. As Clint Boyer says, that pay window's open, and guys, they're ready to make some money.
Pay window is open, and look who's up front. The mains guys are always there whenever the payouts are coming in, and also MBG's up there. McCullough Motorsports, Team 3, and some new PGR boys getting up there. Mike Davenport, the green flag's out.
Green flag is out. We're going to do a little crank it up here on this restart. 15 laps to go at Talladega, now 14. All right, and we're back live. That's going to end our Crank It Up segment. I hope everybody did enjoy. Man, we had a couple close calls, but everybody keeps it together. And up front, Jason Maines leads the inside. Garrett Maines in the middle. And up top, here comes the 77 of Sean Hill. They stayed 3 wide throughout that whole battle. And, man, you can see the push really starting to come to shove here, Baker. Oh, contact! Oh!
Oh, Garrett Maines gets turned. Is he going to save it? He does. He clips his teammate, but oh my goodness. That just turned this race upside down. 28 piles in. 18's coming low.
Man, didn't look like the biggest wreck, and heck of a save overall from Garrett Maines. But this is going to give us another restart, and the chaos ensues a little bit more here with 12 laps to go at Talladega. Let's take a look at what happens this time. And that looked like, that was a little interesting looking. And I'm going to hope there wasn't netcode. It looked like the 77 I saw the 77 initially kind of dart down a little bit, but I don't know if he had actually hit him or not.
Looks like Mert kind of offset pushed him on the right, pushed Sean down the hill into Garrett, and chaos ensued from there.
And watching from that chopper, yep, sure enough.
All the Maines boys.
Yep, you saw it there from the chopper view. That's a little odd because I feel like normally if, you know, the spot of Sean's truck that hit the right front of Garrett, surprised that it shot him down that aggressively that way. Normally, I feel like that would have either turned the 77 or they would have just kind of rubbed doors. But, I mean, that sent the one out of control pretty quickly. He tries to save it. Man, those are quick hands. You see the truck wobbling back and forth, but gets into his teammate, and then at this point, he's going to go for a slide. Kyler kind of straightens him out, but he hooks his other teammate, John Ellis Jr., and then everybody trying to sneak around. Cody Nagels, nowhere to go. Looks like another spin out in front. Man, that was really good avoidance. Try to see who that was.
Dart down to the inside as well to miss it, more contact. It looks like his truck is pretty clean, all things considering.
Right on board here with Sean Corbett. He's going to miss the initial rack. Sees the 79 coming back up. Oh, my goodness. Wow, Sean Corbett, he has another wicked save here as well, as he's able to miss them all and prevent any damage. Let's take a couple more views at this one. But yeah, just, again, one of the things I know on the downside that we've had the cautions, there's only been one caution that's really been guys doing things that they really shouldn't have, and kind of a mistake caution. Everything else just been racing incidents, and that's what you like to see, hard racing. And if these guys weren't going for it, we wouldn't have saw that caution. But then again, the racing wouldn't have been that exciting. Okay, let's take a couple more views of it. Kyler Wynn, I'm not sure if his damage was too bad from it. John Ellis Jr., oh no, he's going to get T-boned by the 20, who also had nowhere to go. Mark Vondell slides in a little bit. 30 truck was able to get it woed up. There's the 23, Sierra Clampert. She sneaks by the outside. Take one more final look here from the bottom. Let's back it up again to where it's going to start right here. And watch it. It's going to be ever so sudden. There it is, and Rex on from there.
Let's see if we can talk to Merc here. Hey, Merc, it's Austin Matt in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up?
Well, from our vantage point up here, it didn't look like you were doing anything wrong. It looked like it just hooked Sean down. I mean, you didn't offset or anything, swipe at all. It just looks like it pushed him down, and he wasn't really expecting it. What do you see from your eyes?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. Just like he kind of went down the track, and at about the same time, it looked like that Garrett was coming up to do the side draft. It almost looked like it stuck them together, and it shot Garrett back down. So I'm really not sure from my vantage point. I mean, I was square pushing, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I think we have to work on some of Alex's wheel connections, because we kind of had an issue earlier off of 2. He was pushing where the truck gets light, and we're going to work on some of his settings in the wheel where he can feel stuff a little better and go from there. I think that's the plan as of right now.
Yeah, because we know he doesn't use force feedback. I don't know how he's so good and doesn't run force feedback.
I don't either. Yeah, we were discussing that in the room, that was because you seem to be more the guy with the settings. So try to get him where he's, like he said, where he has a little more feel in the wheel. That way, he kind of knows where he is and what's going on. But once we get him straight, he's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, you're up front. You guys are lined up 1-2. How are you guys going to get the victory here, or at least get you guys on the money?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to try to push him. I know he has a little damage on the left side, but I told him if my truck looked like that, I wouldn't pit, especially from the lead. So we're gonna see what we can do here. We're coming to 1 to go, so we're gonna give it our best shot. That's for sure.
All right, Mark. Let's see if you see that CVN 73, number 60 in victory lane. Thanks, bud.
All right, brother. Thanks.
All right, so your top 5 here for this restart is going to be Sean Hill in first, Jeff Merck to his outside. Those 2 teammates looking to get lined up as soon as possible. Kevin Frey's third, Chad Ross fourth, and there's the fire starter, Nash Brambilla, going to be rounding out the top 5, and he does have a teammate, Mike Davenport, to his outside in 6th. Let's go over the payouts real quick, why don't we? Because, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, that's the reason everybody's here, and they were pretty big tonight because, of course, we had a different format. But the thing that really made these interesting is we are going to get a delayed green here, so we're going to have to go at least one more time around, is that there was no stage break Baker, and the fact that we had, what was it, over 11 trucks, because, of course, we had 41 starting, over 10 or 11 trucks over what the payouts were based off of. So a lot of these guys are going to be going home with more money than was stated on the flyer.
Absolutely. It looks like it's probably going to be about 150 first and second, if I'm looking at the payouts correctly, unless he's paying back a little bit more. But if he doesn't, I mean, it's going to be good payouts for first, second, and third.
First going home with $120, second 100, third 90, fourth 80, fifth 60, and sixth and seventh getting their money back at $16. But again, that was just the normal payouts. As you heard Baker there, first and second might be getting a little more, or maybe tacking on a couple more positions, all depending. But I mean, hey, for $16, get yourself out here with a chance to win pretty good money by just finishing inside the top 7. I know I say it like it's some easy thing. It's not. But again, top 7, that's almost a fourth of the field. You just got to finish almost in the top 25%. So everybody certainly has a pretty good chance here at PGR. And we see in some of the other series, the teammates work together, and they almost are able to dominate. Not quite as easily done here in the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series, because there's just so many factors thrown in. Each week we have different rookies, we have veterans, mix that in with everybody else, the regulars, and you get the racing product that we see each and every week. And we are getting ready to go for another crazy attempt here 9 laps to go. It's going to be 8 when we take the green. Can we finish it under green? And can Sean Hill, with that damage, can he hold off the rest of the field with his teammate Jeff Merck?
Green flag's going to go in the air. They're going to get an even start, top and bottom. Kevin's going to give a good push to Merck here. Look for Merck to maybe clear down in front of Sean, offset that damage that he has, and then you're going to have Nash lined up behind Kevin. Kevin doesn't have teammates, so you have to make friends where he can. And look at that Team Fury go on top, 3 wide. And as you see Mollahan pull up with McCullough as well. And you saw Ron Morris as well pulling in line. As you see the 04 pull down right in front of the 94. Almost gets turned. McGonigal saves it. So does McCullough.
There's the 94. Andrew, he's been doing a heck of a job tonight as well. We haven't talked too much about him since the beginning of the race when we had to make sure we were pronouncing his last name correctly. But he's having a pretty good run here late in the going. Looked like the 16 blinked a little bit right there, but it's going to solve itself out further back. Looking to see some of these people start making moves. There's Michael Triscaro in the 34. You know, he's looking to go to the front. Further back, some of the people that I think they're going to have to kind of sit in the back now. Sierra Clamper, Kyler Wynn, Jason Maines, Cody Nagels, Garrett Maines. Wow, that is a powerful 5 or so trucks that I just named. I think they are sitting back right now. That's what it looks like. I think they're expecting.
Oh, Mollahan gets put in the wall. Brambilla starting to cut you off. Fury down. You see Hunter Parsons gets turned down to the wall. They're still saving it. Wrecking again, and there's the caution. Red Tucker as well. Big names taken out.
And sure enough, that's why all these guys were sitting in the back. Oh, Garrett still got involved somehow, it looks like. Or at least came to a spin here. I'm not sure if he actually got any damage. Man, huge wreck. And that certainly was the big one right there, Baker.
Just bad luck for Mollahan, man. He's running up front all this time, and he's just getting put in bad spots. Looks like McGonigal tried to force it in between Nash. He gets into Davenport, turns his PGR teammate into his other PGR teammate, and chaos ensues from there. You see McGonigal gets up into Mollahan, Brambilla into the wall. Hunter Parsons gets turned down the track, Stamper back up the track, as well as Ron Morris.
Yep, and then you see, you know, that's a tough one. Those two they kind of come together. Yeah, the 55 was maybe coming up just slightly, but I think the 94 was pinching him a little bit more than he maybe should have right there. Mollahan looks like he's trying to save it. Initially, he's going to be able to do so. Then the 16 of Nash Brambilla, once he goes around further back, they're wrecking, and it's on at this point. You see the 16 starts coming back down the track. Guys are going to try to miss it. And a lot of times you just can't really miss a wreck here at Talladega, and it's on. Look at this. Big hit. I believe that was the 76 of Ron Morris Jr.
Oh my gosh, you have to go back and watch Hunter Parsons bounce off the wall. We thought Garrett wasn't involved. Oh my goodness, he was involved. It looks like Hunter Parsons didn't lift off the throttle whenever he got turned down to the wall and took Garrett Maines along with him. Oh my lord, that was a massive impact.
Let's see here. The 15 goes down to 73. Bounces off the outside wall pretty easily, but oh my goodness. Almost net codes through him. He hits him so hard. Let's ride on board. You know, we kind of, well, you don't, of course. I kind of make a little joke about it here in the booth in the sense of, but, I mean, that's not really a good look for a driver. You know, when you wreck, common courtesy, you got to hold the brakes for things like this especially. Yeah, he still had throttle input there, and what went from, you know, a handful of guys that maybe weren't going to be involved getting involved because of somebody whose truck was already totaled not holding the brakes. You definitely don't like to see that. Man, tough break, but it looks like Sierra snuck through. I'm looking back at some of these guys that also snuck through. The 26, trying to find out some of these names. Again, we had so many drivers. That's William Scott. He's going to sneak through as well, it looks like, without too much damage. The 26, Danny Escherman, he gets through it, but overall, this was certainly the big wreck, and I think if we had a hot mic on Garrett Maines right now, he'd probably not be too happy.
Oh, he's not happy. I'm watching his stream right now, and the memes are being created for sure. This man did not lift. Garrett had no chance, no idea what was going on from his GoPro, of his 3 screens to what he's showing on the stream. He had no opportunity to miss that.
And it looks like we had somebody in the chat ask, what about the 73? The 73 is Ryan Baste. Saw Ryan running up here earlier, leading Team Fury for a little bit. And it looks like he was involved partially in this wreck. Does he hold on to it here? It looks like sneaks through the first one, gets a little contact with his teammate in the 31. I believe that was William Fox. Does a pretty good job, but he's going to get a little bit of damage on, I would say, probably 2 out of the 4 corners of that truck. Maybe a little bit on the front, so it's going to be borderline on whether or not he takes a fast spare. Let's, in fact, go back live. He did use his fast spare, so the 73 is going to be back up at full speed, but if he gets in another wreck, that could certainly bring his night to an end. Looking at it now, Sean Hill leading the way, Jeff Merck second, Chad Ross third, Kevin Freeze fourth, and there's Andrew in the 94, who we just saw start that contact. It looks like he is going to be rounding out the top 5, but hey, he's up 20 from where he started. Still a good night right now for McGronigle. And Christopher McCall 6. There we go. All right, so we're starting to see some of these McCall Motorsports names creep in. Of course, John Mullahan was probably the teammate trying to hold down the fort in the sense of running up front all night from McCall Motorsports. But boy, as you noted, just can't catch a break. John Ward, there's another McCall Motorsports driver. He is also inside the top 10 now. Sierra Clamper's up to 12th. Ron Hunter in the 30 truck. Boy, he's had an eventful night. Looks like he's got some damage, but he's in 13th right now. Dylan Jones, Kyler Wynn. That can be a powerful duo if they get linked up in 14th and 15th. Looking back a couple more positions, we can find Cody Nagels, Jason Maines, Cole Larson. Ron Morse Jr. took a big hit in that incident. He used his fast repair. All these guys going to be getting ready here for what is going to be, looks like a 3-lap shootout, assuming we get the one to go this time.
And look for Kevin to probably support Merck here this whole way through. He doesn't have any teammates around him, and he's worked with Merck before, worked with our team. And look for Chad to work with Sean. So I think MBG's in the best spot to maybe get the win tonight. But that third lane's going to be coming quick, and who's going to lead it? It's going to be Kyler Wynn and Jason. If not, the McCullough Motorsports boys with Christopher McCullough and John Ward. They know how to get it done here for sure.
Well, speaking of Christopher McCullough, I know it's only one to go, but let's see if we can get a quick word with him here. Hey, Chris, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Well, we were talking about how the McCall Motorsports strategy seems to be so effective in these. You guys kind of hang back early, let the trucks that want to wreck themselves out. But here at the end, making the most of it. Up here, going to be starting in that third row. Looks like you do have your teammate John Ward behind you. What's the game plan here?
Get to the front, lead one of these lanes, make sure they don't get 3 abreast and hold us up. I'm not sure what the mains look like back there. So if they're still rolling, they'll probably get in here and get up here too. But it's really going to be taking every run you get. I got Ward behind me, which helps. But you got Merck, Freeze, and Alex up here, so we'll probably be upside down here in just a minute.
Well, we see you got some damage already on the right front of that truck. So I think a little more certainly wouldn't hurt, especially if you can get the win. Good luck.
Yep, thank you. I got a fast repair, so tear it up, I guess.
All right, sounds good. We'll be keeping an eye on it. Back up, here we go. All right, Sean Hill. Tell you what, he's got a little bit of damage, not as much as we saw. The 94 Baker, I don't know if you saw, but the right front was pretty banged up. Not sure that truck would be the best leader right now, but good news for Chris is that he does have that fast repair, so he can go full aggression mode here. Kevin Freeze still hanging around, and I think he's just about the only mains teammate that's up here right now, at least inside the top 10, but I watched to see any of the ones that are further out back try to scratch and claw their way to the front here in these next 3 laps. It is gonna be wild.
Yeah, I don't know. As the pace car pulls down, I don't think the 94 is going to be much of a factor here. Look for the PGR boys to dispose of him pretty quickly. Maybe take him middle of 3, try and get him out of the way as fast as possible, because he's not going to be able to support that bottom lane. And it's going to hurt that bottom lane, and it's going to hurt that top lane, because Merck's not going to want to clear to the bottom. He's going to want Kevin to stay in line as you're going to get tucked up here coming to the restart zone.
And we certainly can't forget, we're at Talladega. 4 wide is always an option. It's just who wants to make it happen first. Good restart up front, further back there. Already looking for position, looking to go 3 wide, almost some contact. Everybody's going to hold themselves together here nice and tight. There's the 23, Sierra Clamper. She dives to the outside. Can't she make a move? Nobody's going to go with her just yet. Now it looks like she's going to get a little help, but up front they stay side by side with Jeff Merck and Kevin Freeze pushing.
That looked like a quick move to the outside, hurt her. Dropped her back a couple spots. Kevin's going to push himself and Jeff clear, but he's going to stay tucked in the middle here as he's getting pushed through from the McCullough boys. That's a good strategy from them. Try and get them to both clear to the bottom. They may take it up here to the 3rd lane out of 4 here. That would be a great move by them. They'd be able to sucker hold them back.
It would certainly be, but I wouldn't be too surprised even to see, we know that guys like to stay in that middle line, even if they're clear on the bottom. Oh, I saw a little contact out back. Does everybody hang on to it? It looks like they do.
4 wide back there.
These guys are getting really dicey. We got to make it to the white flag for this to be official. 4 wide. Jason Maines looks like one of the Fury teammates. That's Cody Nagels on the bottom. Down into turn 1. They are still 4 wide. Can they get it sorted out? Now they finally do. And we're starting to see 2 packs separate. Oh, Cody Nagels gets into Jason Maines. But up front, they stay 3 wide as they all save it out back.
And McCullough boys had a great move. They just didn't have any support there on the top line. Devin wasn't there fast enough. As you see Jones supporting in the middle, he's going to support Kevin to get him in the best position to get that money. And who's going to be benefiting from it the most is Davenport. Doesn't have any teammates around him, but he's in a great spot right now.
Jeff Merckx still rolling in the middle, and he's getting in that position that I always like to be in out of driver, where once that third lane gets plugged up, you don't have to worry about anybody being able to jump to your outside anymore. And I think if you're in the middle or top, you're going to have the advantage coming to line at a track like Talladega, where we know it's a lot further. But all right, here we go. White flag's in the air one more time around.
White flag is in the air. Merck's going to lead that middle line. He's not going to leave that middle line. Kevin may duck low to try and pass him. He'll do the over-under, try and get back to the middle in front of Burke. I don't think Burke would mind pushing him to the line and having Sean leading the bottom line. The NBG's in the best spot here, but look for the McCullough boys to maybe make a run late.
Long line out back. It's not going to matter up front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action. Can we make it back to the line? Finish it off clean, boys. The 0-4, Christopher McCall. He's watching for Devin Ray to look to his outside. Kyler went pushing up top. Now on the bottom. Can he make the run work? Here comes Sean Hill. Jeff Merck in the middle. They're side by side, trying not to wreck out back. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Jeff Merck now back out in front, that third line. Christopher McCall, he still can't get momentum. They're wrecking out back. It's going to be side by side here at the line. Who is going to win it? It is going to be Jeff Merck. Sideways, he beats out his teammate Sean Hill. Oh my goodness, 3/100ths of a second.
A great push from Kevin. You knew he was going to stay in line. He was his best way to make his money back there in the third position. He gives a great push to Merck. The unfortunate one there is Chad Ross getting pushed down to the apron, but it looks like he came home 5th. Still gets a little bit of money there. It looks like that's the position he would have stayed in. Davenport with a great one in 4th, but a great run from MBG there with a 1-2.
And I don't know if he's going to be able to make it all the way around to do a burnout. That thing is totaled. Christopher McCall does finish in the last money spot. But man, crazy finish. But hey, they kept it clean, and that was fun to watch. Let's go back and take a look at it. Man, oh man, that got exciting there towards the end out of turn 4. I thought these guys were maybe going to wreck, but they did a great job holding it together. And as I was noting, they made it fun for us to watch. All right, here we go. Let's go to TV6 for this one. You see the run here through the tribal. They're wrecking out back. That doesn't matter. All that's going to matter is up front. And coming out of the tribal, all bets are kind of off in the sense of guys are just going to start pushing with everything they've got. And you see the pushing really happening here. And it looks like Kevin Fraze is going to start to get maybe turned a little bit. So he starts to turn Jeff Merck. But at that point, they had all the momentum they needed to finish this thing off and get the win. As, boy, they wrecked big time out back. I saw a couple trucks flipping. One truck didn't even land back on the ground until we were probably 200 yards past the start-finish line. But, man, another close finish. Boy, it did not disappoint.
It did not disappoint at all. It was a great finish up front. Glad we kept it clean to the line. A little wrecking out back, but for the most part, coming out of 4, I mean, we're stacked 3 by 3, and it looked like that third lane was going to have a little bit of a chance until that 4 wide happened. Once the 20 car bailed, it kind of stacked up that top line, and they weren't able to have the run that they thought they were going to have.
You got to wonder if that little bit of damage that Christopher McCall had going for him as well maybe hurt. But either way. Oh, man, Sierra Clampert, looks like from the replay there, she stopped literally probably inches before the start-finish line. Wasn't going to be a money spot anyway, but as a driver, you like to finish the race. There's Michael Eden. He's going to come across the line further back, but at the end of the day, Jeff Merck, he gets the win. Let's go back here and check out a couple things. I'm not sure if he did a burnout. It looks like he is. He had enough left in the tank to make it happen, so we'll back this up a little bit so we can see from when this thing started. Looks like he maybe had to get that thing started again.
Burn it down or not, he burned the engine up for sure.
Yeah, you can say that again. The 60 gets the dub. Second, I can't believe I just said that. That was the cringiest thing I've said all night. Gets the win. Second is going to be Sean Hill. Third, Kevin Fraze. Fourth, Mike Davenport. Chad Ross, fifth. We'll go through the rest of the results in just a moment. But before we do that, let's go see if we can get your top 3 in here for interviews. All right, and we are back live at Talladega Superspeedway. We got you top three of the booth, but we're going to start first with third place finisher, Kevin Fries. Kevin, you got a copy?
Yeah, Austin, how you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. Well, crazy finish. Overall, though, it seemed like another fun race. Tell us about your race to start.
Yeah, it was luckily pretty uneventful for me. Can't say that for all my teammates in that race, but yeah, just tried to keep it clean the whole race, and luckily just missed the Garrett and Sean deal there that happened on the backstretch, and all the rest of the wrecks were behind me except for the one with Eshelman, where he blinked into the middle lane, and I don't know what happened there, if people reacted or whatnot, but that was a shame because that tore up a whole lot of cars. But yeah, it was pretty uneventful, and stuck with Merck there at the end because I was painted into a nice little box with options. If I go third, I get trained 4 wide, so I was like, I'll stay right here.
Well, I was going to ask you if there was ever a thought to go 3 wide, but it looks like you're going to go ahead and answer that question for me right there. Hey, either way, third place finish, good night, going to be taking home good money. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, thanks to all the admins over at PGR. This was there were some cautions tonight, but overall it was a really good race. Definitely less fireworks than last week, so that was good to see for them. Definitely a strong turnout too. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and thanks to all the boys who ran with tonight. We have a lot of fun running together, and these races are just a bunch of fun.
Well, you were fun to watch. Thanks for talking to us, and congrats on third place finish.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Baker standing by with your second place finisher.
And now the second place finisher, Alex Hill. Alex, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, a great run for you guys. A little bit of controversy up front with you guys whenever it came to the end of the pit cycle down the backstretch, but nonetheless, you guys recovered. How'd you guys get it done there in the last restart?
Yeah, I just try to stay up front the whole race, try to control the bottom lane, but feel bad for doing that to Merck, man. It's definitely an issue. Got to work on that for sure, but I mean, we just try to control the lanes, play the double lanes, but I mean, hey, it happens, but I'm glad we got a good finish out of it.
Yeah, look, it seemed like good awareness from you guys there in the last restart that everyone around you didn't have teammates, so they needed to stay tuck up behind you to get the push to the line, and you guys are the benefactor there, being in the front two, leading the middle and leading the bottom lanes. Anyone you want to shout out and thank for sponsors?
Yeah, thank you to everybody at MBG helping me out tonight. All my teammates, Cody, you, and Merck. Thank you to everyone watching the broadcast. Thank you to Ghost Racing Network for broadcasting this, and a big thank you to Michael for putting this on.
And that is your second place finisher, Alex.
I think we got to give Alex a little shout out too. Of course, he's rocking the Ghost Racing Network on the hood. We got the primary sponsorship deal going on for the 77, but on that note, let's get over to his teammate here, Jeff Merck. Jeff, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up, fellas?
Well, man, you went from destroyed on the backstretch to winning at the biggest field PGR has seen so far. How'd you make the comeback?
A lot of help from the teammates. Being lucky, really. I was kind of tiptoeing through the field there. I think that next to last caution, and then it's just like the seas parted. I got to, I think, second or third in the middle line. Then got up behind my teammate, the top line, got that push. And I'm really not sure what happened there. If Alex just got a little loose off my nose, or because he kind of wiggled left as I just watched the replay. He kind of wiggled as Garrett came up to do the side draft, and it kind of, they barely touched, but it sent Garrett back down the track, and then he net coded into his dad, and then it kicked off the big one. We got to 1-2, and then we just pretty much held that, held those 2 spots all the way to the line.
Well, we heard from Kevin Fries, and he did tell us that he was kind of planning on sticking to your bumper there with the way things were working out at the end. But from your view and your mindset there towards the end, did you think the 25 was going to jump out? And if so, what were you thinking about trying to do?
Well, I mean, there wasn't going to be really a lot I could do. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, when we got that giant run down the back and we cleared, I mean, he had to clear the bottom line by like 2 trucks. I thought for sure he was going to hang me out and go low and, at least get back up in front of me, and then I had to push him to the line. But You got to give Kevin credit on the win because, I mean, he just got on my bumper and just absolutely stayed there. And then I was fighting the truck so hard coming through the trouble to try to keep it straight. And then there, right at the last second at the line, we got a little offset and he turned me down into Alex. But by then we were at the line anyway. So, you know, NBG, baby, 1-2, we'll take it.
I'll tell you what, if we gave money for style points, you certainly would get a little paycheck there. Finished across the line, 45 degrees sideways. But hey, congrats on the win tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, first and foremost, my loving wife, who sat behind me on the couch, for letting me do this as a hobby, kind of my stress reliever. Second, United States Navy, all of our armed forces really, but I'm a Navy man, so CVN 7.3 on the truck. Patented Paints, they painted up that CVN 7.3. Just gave us a new MBG logo with the old Burley class destroyer on the logo, so appreciate Patented Paints for that. Ghost Racing Network, Austin, Matt up in the booth, you always do a great job. PGR for putting this, I mean, man, I mean, this is, I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing something right. I mean, every week it just seems like the fields get bigger, bigger, and bigger. So, I mean, this was crazy, 41 car field. I think team owner, Matthew Baker up in the booth, man, we got a stout team here. Me, Alex, Cody's still kind of on the fence, but I mean, I think we consider him a teammate. Matthew Baker is team owner. Man, I love the fact that we went from using the fast spread to winning the race. I'll take it.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Merck, your winner at Talladega here tonight in the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, boy. That was quite a mouthful. But hey, either way, let's go over your finishing results here. Jeff Merck got the win. Second, Sean Hill. Kevin Freeze, third. Mike Davenport, fourth. Chad Ross, fifth. It's going to be Andrew, and I do want to make sure I pronounce his last name right this time, so I got to go look at it here. McGronigill finishes in sixth. Seventh, Christopher McCall. Eighth is going to be Ryan Bass. Dylan Jones, ninth, and John Ward running at the top 10.
You got Kyler Wynn in 11th in his return to Money Racing. David Drohan in 12th. Christopher Hodges in 13th. 14th, Cody Nagels. 15th, Jason Maines. 16th, Heath Job. 17th, Rick Tucker. 18th, John Ellis Jr. 19th, David Sheets. And 20th, Nash Brambilla.
William Fox finishes in 21st. Sierra Clampert, 22nd. Ron Morris Jr., 23rd. Michael Eden, 24th. Cole Larson, 25th. Danny Escherman, 26th. Devin Rea, 27th. Ken McCall Jr., 28th. Mark Vondell, 29th. And Ron Hunter running at the top 30.
31st, you got William H. Scott, Sean Corbett in 32nd. John Mollahan with some bad luck, running up front all day and just got ricked out a couple times. 33rd, Kenneth Stampert in 34th. 35th, Hunter Parsons. And 36th, Michael Triscaro. 37th, Donnie Lyons. Garrett Maines, 38th. And 39th, Michael Dunn. And rounding out your field, J.R. Miller and Josh Oswelski.
Well, I'll tell you what, Baker, as the field gets bigger and bigger each week, these races continue to get more and more exciting. I really did like what I saw last night. All things considered, with that big of a field, I know we had our usual cautions, but considering that, you know, we had a couple calls by netcode and the other ones just calls by hard racing, I think the guys were racing each other very respectful, and it was a good chance for everybody to get out here and have some fun.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything atrocious. You know, the only thing that was atrocious was Hunter Parsons coming back up the racetrack. But nonetheless, everyone else kept their head on their shoulders and had a great race. And it was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of new people that were out there, new teams that were out there. They were up front for a little bit, trying to battle in the 3-wide. So if you're looking for a money race to get in, this is the one. We're capping out the field at 43, and we almost got to it that time. So if you're looking to get into good money racing, the spots are filling up quick.
All right, well, we're going to have to go ahead and wrap it up here for tonight. We will be back next Thursday, assuming nothing changes for the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I hope everybody did enjoy, and for me and Matthew Baker, until next time, have a good one.